Good day, all. Ira Epstein of Linn and Associates with your metal market wrap-up for Thursday, the 21st of October, 2021, 5:05 p.m. Central Time. I'm early. I just got off an interview, actually, in Australia, as I was on Sky Business there, and figured I'd just go right into this. I didn't do updates for you on YouTube yesterday. I certainly did them for all my paid subscribers on their mornings and everything else that I do. I just played hooky. All right. When we look at the market backing off a little, but you went up for a new high today in the S&P. I had drawn the other day, today is Thursday, so Tuesday I had put a line on the chart where I thought the market might make a run to that all-time high. Wait till you see that. I wish I could bet that way and catch those trades. As you're looking in these markets, in the energies, a little back off. What I said on Australian TV just moments ago, and it's their morning there, was consolidation's probably in the cards here in energies. Not a big break. We need this energy, and you haven't had the first winter storms yet. When you get those, you're going to get even more demand. So right now, a pause. That makes sense. Gold still acting very good. Another thing I said on TV there, I said, I think the watershed event has happened, and I think gold now, it has to be looked at, is going to make its advance with the inflation from everyday inflation. Procter & Gamble, Unilever, every company telling us inflation is coming. Another thing I was watching that was interesting, and I'm going to cover that in my financial report right after this one, is how to move everything from the ports out of the ports so that you can keep unloading those ships. Another idea for you. But let's go to the charts. And on the charts, what have I been waiting for? I've been waiting for the market to come back and challenge that 18-week average. Now, challenging it isn't over it. I'll feel so much better when we take out that high. But what the market, I think, is saying for the gold market is we have reached a point where the Fed has to really prove transitory, but they have months to prove that. In the meantime, every newspaper event is of inflation, and that's getting this market's attention finally. As we look at the daily bar, you're pretty flat in the market. I don't think you could argue that. You do have a pattern of higher lows, higher highs. That part of the market is bullish. The resistance, I think it's rather pronounced and ultra clear. 1796.80 to 1799.60, the 200-day average in gray, and in green, the 100-day average. Support is the 18-day average of closes. And the Bollinger Band says, don't leave me out of this. I want to play. And it's at 1800.8. So this is your resistance point. If and when you get over it, and I think it'll be when you get over it, what will happen is this market's going to convert itself, and I think we're going to get gold into a number with a 2 on it next year. I could be very wrong, but as I'm seeing the inflation and the chart action, I see a story coming together here. When I look at the slow stochastics, unlike the other times to get up there, you're not overbought. You have flat momentum. Trend up, bias up, momentum not overbought, resistance, those 3 numbers. The gold-silver ratio is also supporting gold. When the other metals come alive, that's when gold does its best, believe it or not. You'll think, oh, gold runs and leaves them. It doesn't work that way, not historically. So we've had this wonderful break. You came away from the 80 level. You're now into 73. And when you go to the silver chart, it's been bullish. Not going to be bullish, it's bullish. It also has a bullish embedded reading. I like what I'm seeing there. Yes, I know we're at the resistance of the upper Bollinger Band, and I never break my rule. It's the breaks that I think the pros are going to buy until that red line closes back under the 80 level. So get breaks, and if you take my enhanced Bollinger Band course, you know how to take advantage of those. If you haven't, you want to. I'll talk about that in a minute. But this is that setup, and that's what you start looking for. Copper, different. Copper's ahead of itself. It lost its embedded reading. This is Wednesday. Today, this is it. When you get this type of reading and you lose the embedded reading, here's what you're supposed to do in my enhanced course. Clap your hands. Thank you so much. I have other things to do, and I'm not even going to look at you for a while. That's the hardest thing for you to do. You try to make something out of nothing. Don't. The momentum said this game's ended for a little bit. Leave it be. In the platinum, embedded reading. It's the other metals that are coming alive. This market's saying, okay, until the red line's underneath 80, it is a buy on these pullbacks, looking still for the 1086.80 level. In the palladium market, this is what you call a contra-trend break. Why is a contra-trend? You've stayed over the 18-day average of closes. I do so many of these weekly dailies. That's the support. So breaking to it when the swing line turns down as the trend is down, but the bias is up, and it gives the market a chance to correct itself. It could throw out a couple of sell signals if it closes under 201.40, but I don't think you're going to get much traction on it, especially if the platinum is looking good, the silver is looking good, the palladium. I think that that's just not what's going to happen. As for the dollar index, I have been looking for support where? Well, if you look at these setups, if you break down, you were overbought, you break down, you're fighting a battle at the 18-day average. If that gives ground and you don't have any other key moving averages here, potentially the next break could be a Bollinger Band and a window envelope. I don't show you all the window envelopes here. They're in my subscriber videos. But that's the number. Bounces, and today I'm very happy. Market went right down to it, held it like a charm. That is good action. So I think that you've run the course to the downside. It doesn't mean it has to pick up and run dramatically, but I think now that you're oversold, you've hit the lower band, the bears are satisfied with that. So one of the things I just said to you is I want you to learn Bollinger Bands. Why? They're on every chart. They should be on every chart that you look at. They're an algorithm that's got tremendous reliability to it in the sense that the market will, on a quantitative basis, trade 95% of the time within the bands. And that's a lower and upper band. And then you learn how they narrow in, and it's like a spring. You get going with it, and then you break out to the upside or the downside. But within that, when you embed with momentum, there's some neat plays. Take a look at this. Give yourself a few minutes. Learn something. Welcome. I'm Ira Epstein, and I'm here to talk about my enhanced Bollinger Band course. Now, many of you have taken my regular charting course, and if not, you might think you know something about Bollinger Bands. As you know, Bollinger Bands are an algorithm designed to keep the market trading within it 95% of the time, and on a chart, it will offer on the top part resistance, on the bottom support, and the idea is the market will travel within them. We know that sometimes it latches onto that band, goes up or goes down. Well, how do you play with that? Can you pyramid the positions off that type of thinking? Well, I've applied all three of these into 13 different videos that teach you my concept of it. And from that concept, you're able to work with weekly charts and or daily charts. The 13 videos, each about 7 minutes long. The idea here is not to put you in school forever, but to teach. Now, if you haven't tried my complete futures research, I throw that in as well. Whether you've tried this or not, I think it's worth taking a look at. I think you're going to learn something from there. That research, by the way, covers twice daily market updates for you and access to what I call window envelope numbers, which I think are very important when looking at these Bollinger Bands. The next part is a trial to our charting software so you can make your charts look the same way that mine do. It's that simple. Where do you go with it and how do you get all this? It's simple. You go to our website, www.iraepstein.com. If you go to the word education, everything you need is answered there. You can also call my staff. They'll be happy to help you get set up. I'm Ira Epstein, on the road to your education.